Welcome to week 3, everyone. And this week we will be covering modules 5 and 6. And at the end of this week, you will officially be halfway through the class. So you guys are doing great. Let me go over this module with you, touching on all the key things that I want you to make sure to check. Here is your to-do list for the week, for module 5, I should say. Your objectives for the chapter are here. Chapter 6 is all about memory, which plays really nicely off of the previous chapter we just covered, learning. Learning and memory sometimes are in the same chapter, depends on the type of intro psych class that you're taking. I like that they're in two separate chapters because I think both have a lot in them, so it's a little bit easier to digest when separated. So in terms of what you're going to be covering for the memory chapter, we're going to first be looking at how we understand memory to work. So we kind of look at it in 3 phases or 3 processes of memory. And that starts at sensory memory, it goes to working or short-term memory, and then long-term memory. So pretty much it's going to break it down into those 3 throughout the chapter. It's going to first talk about sensory memory, and then it's going to get into working memory, but it'll go back to sensory memory and be mentioning that. And then when you get to long-term memory, there's a lot there. That's kind of where the bulk of the chapter is. But you have to have a thorough understanding of sensory memory and working memory to understand how long-term memory operates. So it starts with sensory memory. It does distinguish short-term versus working memory. A lot of times, actually, the rule of thumb has always been that the two have been used interchangeably. They're slightly different, but I think short-term memory is more of an umbrella term, and working memory is kind of what is happening in short-term memory, if you want to remember it that way. And then you're going to move into differentiating, all the various types of long-term memory. So long-term memory is where we store things for the long haul, things that we know we're going to want to come back to, things that are pivotal in our lives, things that have a lot of meaning, things that we create context out of, like, episodic memories, things that we did in our childhood, or the first time you lost your tooth, or things like that would go into long-term memory. Anything else in long-term memory that is not that kind, that is not episodic, might be things that you've really practiced over and over and over, and because you did so, you've now retained it in that longer term memory. So that might be like learning the states of the United States, or it might just be learning how to tie your shoes, something that's procedural, something that you do every day. If you play an instrument, I know some of you do, reading music, or knowing how to place your fingers, if you're playing the piano or the guitar, things like that would be in long-term memory. So once you have an understanding of how those operate, then you're going to get into how do we go ahead and retrieve memories out when we want to access them. So memory retrieval. And it involves a lot of different processes. It involves recall and recognition. And here's where we kind of dive into a little bit of the research on eyewitness testimony. It's so interesting. I know I have some criminal justice majors. This is a great kind of overlap in that area, because eyewitness testimony is relying on people's memory to recall an event that has happened. The only problem is that oftentimes the time span in which the person saw or witnessed the event, and then when they tell about it, there's often a delay, and there's often many things that happen in between that time period that could affect how they remember what they witnessed. So you guys are going to be digging into that, and you're going to be reading some of the research by Elizabeth Loftus, and that's actually tied into your discussion posts for the week for this module. So interesting stuff there, very applied area of psychology. We'll also be looking at other retrieval memories, like why do we remember some things better than others? If we want to remember something purposefully, what are the best ways to do that? So some different memory tricks and tactics, which I think actually many of you have already been exposed to just with learning how to study and learning how to take tests. You've probably heard of a lot of the different tactics that it's going to cover. And then we're going to get into some more applied things like why people forget. We'll actually be looking at some of the neurochemistry behind forgetting, as well as some mental illness like Alzheimer's disease. And what is that? What causes it? Why does it affect our memory? What parts of the brain are affected when we have memory issues, i.e. where are memories mostly stored in the brain? What part of the brain is responsible for doing that? So we'll be talking a little bit about things like Alzheimer's, as well as just overall amnesia, the different types and causes, which is pretty interesting. So that will round off the chapter. And then here are your lecture slides for memory. The videos that you're watching this week are in episode 8 of my psych lab. And again, I believe there's a video in there by Elizabeth Loftus talking about her research. So that'll be pretty cool because if you skip down here to Module 5 discussion, the Hawk reading that you're doing this week is on the research of Elizabeth Loftus. It's called Thanks for the Memories. And you're going to be talking about this process of gathering eyewitness testimony. I want to see you guys integrating in the research that's presented in the Hawk book. And I also want to see you integrating in concepts and material as it applies from the Cicerelli and White book. So lots of good opportunity to integrate in what you're learning and reading. So I do, again, suggest that you make sure to watch the videos before attempting your discussion, and definitely make sure that you've read through the book. Somebody had emailed me earlier last week and said that they've been listening to the podcasts that are on the My Psych Lab. So the chapter is read to you kind of, in a podcast. It's the audio version of the chapter. And so a student had just emailed me and said, I've been listening to the chapter, and then I go and I read it, and it's been so helpful. So I just want to reiterate, if you're an auditory learner, if you learn best by listening and hearing, that might do you well to go ahead and listen to the chapter and then go ahead and read it. So you're not only getting the auditory part, you're getting the visual part as well. Your brain picks up on different things depending upon how it's presented to you, as you're going to see when you cover memory. So I would definitely recommend doing that if you haven't yet tried that as a way to help digest the material a little bit better. All right, and then this module also has its quiz. Quiz closes by Friday. Again, standard format for the quiz, multiple choice tests. And that is it for Module 5. Don't forget to listen to the podcast for the next module. Thanks, everyone.